Hey, welcome to another episode of GeekOutdoors.com. On this Shotcut tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how you could get better performance while you are editing. Now, this is going to be especially important if you're going to be working with 4K files or more complex projects. And so if you look at the two files that I'm going to be using here today, like this one right here, if I look at the properties, this is a 4K resolution of 3840 by 2160. And then I have another one that I'll be using right here. This is also at 3840 by 2160. And so these are the two that I'm going to be showing you. And the performance on this might vary based upon the hardware that you have. And so before I get into this, let me show you the hardware that I'm working with. And so currently on my system, I am using Linux Mint 19.3. This is my operating system. The CPU that I have is an Intel Core i7 6700K running at 4 gigahertz. And then the amount of RAM that I have is 32 gigs of RAM. And all my main storage is using SSDs. And I do have external storage as well, and also a mechanical drive for more long-term storage. But this is overall, I think, a pretty good machine, specifically if you are going to be doing some 4K. However, even with that, it definitely still has issues. So let me show you a perfect example of this. So if you're just like looking at your video and just watching it, at least on my machine, it works fine. I could even scrub through it. Really doesn't have many issues. But once I start adding filters or effects or more clips, then things start having issues. So let me show you an example of that. So I'm going to add a filter, a video filter. And so the first one I'm going to show you will definitely highlight the fact that you are going to have performance issues, especially if you're working with 4K. So here's an effect right here. It's called halftone. So let's go ahead and watch that. So as you can see, it's practically frame by frame. It is super slow. And so let me show you another filter. We'll go down here to grid. So this is a grid filter. And this one is also slow as well. And this is just one clip. So you can imagine if you had multiple clips on your project timeline with a variety of different video and audio effects, this could really slow down your workflow. So let me show you some of the features, performance features that are built into Shotcut. So as of right now, as of the time of this video, Shotcut currently doesn't have any built-in proxy clips. So if you're familiar with video editing, a lot of the more pro video editors and just other video editors that I'm used, like Kdenlive, it does have proxy clips. So proxy clips allows you to create lower res versions of your video clips. And at the same time, you can use those when you're editing, but whenever you're exporting, you're going to be exporting using the original high resolution. So this makes the overall editing a lot quicker. And so Shotcut does have something similar to that, and let me show you what that is. And so if you actually select the clip, go here to your properties tab, and if you go here to convert, there is convert to edit friendly. And so if you see here, it allows you to convert to edit friendly format. There's good, large, and then best. And so with each one of these, they're using different formats or codecs. And I tried using this with this lossy iframe H.264 AC3 MP4. So if I said OK, and it's gonna ask me for a name, let's just call this good quality. Okay, and then we'll say MP4 open, and what you notice is there's going to be a job right here, convert good quality, and depending on how fast your machine is, it might take a little while. So once this is done processing, I'm going to show you the differences that I've gotten, or maybe lack thereof. So you see what I mean once this is done. For serious YouTubers, check out TubeBuddy, the premier tool news at GeekOutdoors.com. Get more done today by checking out the affiliate link in the description area below. And so now the conversion is done. And if I actually go to the video clips folder, there's a brand new file called good quality. Now what you'll notice is whenever you are creating these edit friendly versions, they are going to be larger than the original. And so this new version is 336 megs, while the original is 117 megs. And if I actually look at my original file and I look at some of the codec information, the resolution is 3840 by 2160 and the buffer dimensions is 3840 by 2178. Now, if I actually look at the new version, or this good quality version, the resolution is still the same at 3840 by 2160. Buffer is the same. As far as I could tell, overall, this is practically the same file. You know, there's probably other differences from a technical point of view, and it is a larger file. But now that I actually have this new good quality file, I could bring it into my project timeline to see if it makes a difference. So we're going to go ahead and drag it down here to this track. And, you know, as I'm playing it, no issues. It looks the same as before. But now let's go ahead and add the filter. So the first one I'm going to add is this halftone, which gave a lot of problems before. And pretty much the same issue. Really slow performance. And then let's try the other one, the grid. And practically the same performance here. And so, at least from my experience, just by using this, I've tried better and best as well, and I really didn't see a performance difference, you know, whenever I was using these newer versions. And the thing is, the files were much larger. And so, at least from my point of view, if you're using this convert to edit friendly, it really doesn't make a difference when it comes to your actual video editing. And so now let's look at some settings that actually do make a difference whenever you are video editing. Now, if you go up here to settings, there are a variety of different options available. Now, I'm not going to go through all of these. I'm going to primarily go over the ones that I have seen that actually impacts the overall performance. And so the first one you'll see is video mode. Now, the default is automatic. So it will go ahead and set your project automatically to whatever resolution is in the original clip or clips, and it kind of figures out which is the best overall for your project. Now, what I decided to do was, let me go ahead and set this down to 720p to see if that actually makes a difference. So we'll go ahead and change that, and it's going to take a few seconds. And you'll also notice that my actual clips got longer because the resolution is lower. So if I actually use this lower resolution, does it make a difference? Now, when it comes to actual playback and scrubbing, I really didn't see much of a difference at all. However, let's go ahead and add those same filters to see if it improved the performance. So I'm going to try this halftone, and here the performance is still bad frame by frame. So let's go ahead and try the other effect, grid, and this one too. Not much better at all. And so that is the first one, because I think a lot of people would assume that if you did bring it down to a lower resolution, that you are going to get better performance. That's kind of what I thought was going to happen. Unfortunately, there wasn't any improvements right there. So we'll go back to automatic, and it's going to take a second to reset everything. And now we are back to what we had before. So now let's go over some settings that actually have shown some performance improvements. And so if we go back to our settings up here, we have some other options down here. Now, the first one is scrub audio. And so right now, if you do have a clip that does have audio, like this one right here, this has audio. And if you're scrubbing through it, you'll notice that it also scrubs through the audio as well. So you might have heard that, where you hear bits and pieces of the audio as you're scrubbing through it, like so. Now, one thing that you can do is you can turn off that scrub audio, and now if you scrub through your clip, you don't hear the audio. So this definitely does help, because now your computer doesn't have to process the audio as well. So you'll be able to quickly go from one part of your clip to another without having to worry about your audio as well. I myself like to keep it on because it does help me whenever I'm editing. However, if you are having performance issue, that's one way in which you can improve it. Now, there are some other options here. Right now, if you uncheck this real time, you won't have frame dropping. However, things are going to be a lot slower. So if I uncheck that and then I press play on here, the biggest difference. So, you know, that's going to be less frame dropping there. But I don't really see an improvement here whenever it comes to performance. And so that's really not one that I use. And then there's another one called progressive. And this one as well, I didn't see a difference. Now, the one that made the biggest difference by far is this preview scaling. So right now, the default is none. So let me go back to the other video clip because I think it represents that better. So if you turn on preview scaling, and right now it's the default, but if you go down to lower resolution, say 360p, now you might have noticed that the resolution is going to be lower on your preview window. And now if you add things like filters, okay, let's go back to those two filters that we tried before. So the first one is halftone. And now we press play, it is a lot smoother. Whereas before, whenever we applied this filter, it was practically frame by frame. And so let's go ahead and try the other filter, the grid. And we'll play that again. And this is a lot better. Now, by far, I really feel this is the best way to get better performance while you're video editing. Just simply lower the preview scaling to, a lower resolution. And this won't affect your original video clip. It's just that whenever you are editing your video, things are going to be a lot faster because it's not previewing at a higher resolution. And so this one, by far, at least for me, is the best way to get better performance while you're video editing. Now, another one that you can use is this interpolation. The current default is good. And if you go to nearest neighbor fast, it'll do this better, meaning that the overall quality is going to be lower, but at least it's not going to sacrifice the overall performance. If you look on here, it does a pretty good job. And this is back to the native preview that I had before. And let's go ahead and apply that other filter, this halftone, to see if it makes a difference. So we'll watch that again. So not as dramatic as the preview scaling, but still better than if I didn't use it. And so we'll go ahead and remove that. So that was the interpolation. We'll go back to the bilinear. And other than that, I didn't really see anything else that really improved the overall performance. So in general, the scrub audio, and most importantly, preview scaling and interpolation, those are the three settings that will show a noticeable difference, with the preview scaling having the best impact when it comes to overall performance. And so that is it for this particular tutorial. And maybe in the future, Shotcut will provide some type of proxy clips. But until then, I think these are the best solutions that you currently have without having to create lower resolution versions of your clips. And so if you actually had any thoughts on this or any other ways in which you get better performance in Shotcut, be sure to leave that in the comments area below. And if you did want to see more of my Shotcut tutorials and tips, I do have a playlist. I'll leave that in the description area as well. So as always, if you did get value out of these videos, be sure to share, like, and subscribe. Hey geeks, if you are a creative geek like me and you wanted to learn how to create content on YouTube and other places on the internet, then check out my Go Content Creators group, where you'll get access to additional videos and content for all the creative geeks out there. And the best part of it is, all of this is free. Simply head over to the link below, check out my page, and sign up for my Go Content Creators group. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the other side.